everybody. Craig and I are out at Broadview Farm and Gardens, and we're in Marengo. So we wanted to quick check in with them, see how things are going for them. It's been a few years since we were out here, so we wanted to take you on a farm visit. So we're going to talk with Tim Brown today. He is the guy behind part of Broadview. And so I was asking you before we started filming a little bit about coronavirus and what that looks like for you out here on the farm and how that's really kind of affected what's going on.
Sure. So as far as our farm and our family is concerned, we've been really blessed in that we have relatively insulated here on the farm. We have distant neighbors, and because we homeschool our children, we weren't too adversely affected in the beginning as far as our family was concerned. Our kids are here every day anyway. My mother has a residence on the farm, so she's also insulated with us as well. So she's able to take care of the kids. Everybody is minimizing their outside exposure. We're all able to stay safe and healthy and continue to work and do our thing. As far as business is concerned, it's definitely been an interesting year. We've seen, obviously, our restaurant partners taking a real hit, and they've had a hard time. All of them are still in business, thank God, and they're all still doing their thing. But we've seen a definite decline in sales there. But on the other hand, farmers market sales have picked up, CSA sales have picked up. People have really recognized the importance of local food and bolstering the local food supply, and as well as the community. So It's been a blessing there.
I know, that is so cool. And that's why I'm so glad that we have partnerships with our local farmers, because people do value that, and it's a really important part of what's going on out in the world right now, is that we're starting to understand also just the importance of nourishing ourselves with good food.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, so you were starting to tell us a little bit about what's going on over here. So we have the chickens.
Yeah. So one of the things we've done is we've increased our flock of laying hens. We converted an old goat shed into a chicken house, and we've quadrupled the amount of chickens we have. They're all free range. They stay kind of penned up in the morning, and then afternoon they're let out into the pasture where they can forage for insects and seeds and whatever else they can find out there.
Very cool. And then you also grow. You have chickens for meat now too, right?
We do, yeah.
Yep. So
those are out in the pasture as well. Those are. They're doing their thing. They live on pasture every day, all the duration of their life. So they're on pasture. We can go have a look at those if you like.
Yeah. So we're out here with Tim, and he was showing us these are the chickens that he's raising for their meat. So we're out here on the pasture, and so with regards to the animals, how is the care of that? How does that all fall together?
So in regard to the care of the animals, actually, that's combined effort. So I manage that along with my son. He's actually the primary caretaker morning and afternoon and evening for all the animals. So he comes out here every morning. This morning he was out here well before daylight and, with a headlamp on and feeding the animals and getting ready for the market. He goes with Delicia to the market on Tuesday, so he has to get all of his work done before he can leave.
I was going to say, do they, do the animals, this is like a city girl thing to ask, do the animals expect him to come out before the sun even comes up to feed them and care for them? No. Or is it just...
Not always. No, not always. Some days it's necessary for him to do that, but no, usually he's out here about sunrise. And no, they have no expectations really. Yeah, there's definitely some leeway. Now, if they were like milk cows or something like that, they might be a little bit more, regular as far as what they expect.
Right.
But, no, they're pretty understanding animals.
That's good. just discussing about this beautiful kale that we have growing here. And so, Tim, you were mentioning about the soil. So tell us like what these particular plants need, and then just generally like what you're doing on the farm in terms of the soil.
Sure. So the kale plants, the brassica family in general, really have a lot of demands in the soil. So it's really important to get it kind of tuned up before you plant those plants. So what we do is that we will compost. We will also fertilize the plot before we plant the cover crop. So we actually fertilize our cover crops. That allows the cover crop to access the fertilizer, convert it into something that's accessible for other plants to use. At that point, we'll mow down the cover crop, till it in, and then re-fertilize. And at that point, the soil tends to be in a really good condition for the kale and the cabbages, broccoli, cauliflower, etc., to access all the nutrients in the soil. Without a decent level of organic matter or plant matter or manure or something breaking down in the soil, the plants actually can't access all the nutrients that you put down. So even if you put down a bunch of fertilizer, the plant might not be able to access it unless it has the conditions in place to do so. So it does require more work, for sure, for us organic guys to do it and have healthy plants to show.
Right. So then when you talk about fertilizer, then can you talk a little bit about what does that look like when you're growing things organically?
So the fertilizer we use is all compost-based fertilizers. We use like chicken manure, kelp meal, blood meal, bone meal, things like that are usually byproducts of other processing. But they're all based in biological products. So they're all manure-based, animal-based fertilizers. So that's what we use. It comes in a granular form, and we spread that out before we plant.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
And I'm always impressed with, and can you talk a little bit, I guess, getting into like carbon sequestration and things? Because I'm not that informed on it. I know that growing things organically helps with that, but can you lend some knowledge on that?
Sure. Growing things organically tends to help with carbon sequestration because it's really important in organic production to keep your soil covered with something growing. And that is what's providing the carbon sequestration. So we use cover crops, and that cover crop is drawing carbon out of the atmosphere and banking it in the soil to be used later on by other plants. And the goal is to not really keep your soil bare and to always have something in the ground that can, yes, number one, sequester the carbon, bank it in the soil. It also helps to protect the soil, keep all the nutrients in place so they don't wash away. All right, so here we are. This is how we grow our tender crops. The arugula, the radishes, turnips, braising mixes, things that are most susceptible to bug damage on the leaves. Things like baby arugula can be completely devastated by pests in no time. So we use a hard barrier, a row covering, and this is actually what prevents the pests from getting in here. Peel back, you can see it's growing.
It is looking like it is great.
So that has another week or so, and that'll be ready to harvest.
I love your arugula. Has a great peppery flavor to it. So good.
I really enjoy it too.
Yeah.
So young radishes just now forming their roots. So those are probably a couple weeks out. So you can see there's like different mustards, baby kales, sprouting broccoli, and you can see no holes in the leaves.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Nice and healthy, bug free.
I love seeing the variety of ways that you have to kind of come at it.
Yeah, it's
trial and error, maybe. Or you've just gotten good at it now.
Yeah, we know for some crops we know what we have to do. It's just to part of the routine, for sure. It's just part of how it has to be done. But there is very much some trial and error going on in other crops, like carrots.
The beehives and everything. So they're another good food partner, obviously. So just can you talk a little bit about the community around farming and what that looks like for you guys?
Sure. So community has absolutely been one of the most important aspects of what we do. And what we've noticed is that everybody here on the farm and all of our kind of close allies all seem to play a pivotal role in how this whole thing works. We work in conjunction with a beekeeper. She keeps her hives on our property. That adds more pollinators to our farm. We also get to keep a portion of the honey from that. It increases the biodiversity as well. We sell together at the farmers market, and we're able to promote one another's businesses, working with choices. So we are able to promote choices, and vice versa. We're able to provide, produce to you all, and we get the support of the community as a result. More people know about us. They come see us at the market, and they support us at Choices, and they tell us, we buy your stuff exclusively at Choices. We'd love to come out and see us face to face at the market. Community has absolutely been the biggest driver of all this progress in the local food movement. It's always been about community. So that is absolutely one thing that we see going forward. We need to strengthen even more as we continue to kind of encounter these different challenges that are completely outside of our control. We turn to community in order to kind of help each other out and make the whole thing go.
Yep, and we are all going to get through it if we hang in there together. Yep. Thanks for taking us out here tonight. Today we actually love coming out here and seeing the farm.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
I appreciate it.